Hi everybody, Kat here. So we are going to be talking about the Panda brushes and the Raven brushes. They're brand new from Jest Paint. I've got them right here in front of me. This is a Raven and it is a number 3. The Ravens actually have a black bristle and this is the number 1, whereas the Panda has the white bristles. So you can use your whites for all of your light colors or just your white paint. And this will prevent it from staining, but here's the number 1, and we're going to do a little bit of testing and some simple line work with them today. So my video is probably going to jump all over the place, but I'm going to start with this number 3, and I just want to show you that with the different amount of pressure, you're going to be able to achieve different size of teardrops. And when I'm doing the drop and drags, I want to just see what that spring back feels like on the actual brush. I love their diamond collection, and I'm just wondering, is it similar as far as how the bristles are made? You can see right here, I can pull all the way up and over. It's holding a good amount of paint, so I like that as well. And it's got some really good points on it too. So I'm going to jump over here to the Raven, and again, in the Raven collection, you have a number 3 and number 1. So I'm bending back the bristles. I want to look at them because with the diamond, they are all one length, but each strand of the synthetic fiber narrowed down, and that way you get a nice point. I'm just wondering if these are made very similar. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of line work here. I am using the number 3. It is the Raven. You can tell because it is the black bristles. So far the line work is going as expected. I'm not having any issues with it whatsoever. I never really have ever had an issue with any of the bolt brushes. As you know, I've been a fan. I have been doing videos on the bolt brushes since the beginning of when I started face paint, and I found out about the bolt brushes. These have a very firm feel. So if you like a firm brush and you do a lot of detail work, I think this is a good brush to have. Now this is a number 3, and you would think almost you would need a number 1 to do any type of fine detail work, but this is the number 3, and again, I'm just playing around with it. I want to see how it would feel, how it would work, and so far, not any problems. Now you see I switched over to the Panda because I have white on my brush, and that is actually a Panda in my hand. So I'm jumping between brushes because now I'm using the Raven. Remember, I'm using dark with dark and I'm using white with white. So jumping back over to the Panda, I'm going to outline my unicorn in white. This is actually the number 1, and I wanted to see how it was going to differ as far as detail work between the number 1, line work, all of that, because if you remember, I used the number 3 on the Raven to do all of the outlining of the unicorn itself, and oh great, I smudged the unicorn. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix that really quick. That's the number 3, and I'm going to go ahead and pull in a couple of different teardrop strokes, just kind of embellishing around this unicorn. Now I'm not going to do anything that's in flow, so please note I'm not trying to do things in flow. I am just making some simple teardrops and some other things, so I don't want you to think this is how I would normally do it, but again, I'm just trying to get a feel of the brush itself. Again, this is the number 3, and you can see from the pressure you can get different various types of strokes. And sorry I'm out of frame there, but I'm just pulling it in to show you the difference between the 3 and the 1, and you can see that. So I'm going to move over to my little cartoon shark. This shark is not a scary shark by any means of the measure. This shark would probably be really actually a cute little shark for a kid who didn't want to have something so scary with the sharp teeth and the blood coming out. This is more of a cartoon shark, if you will, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of do this, and then I'll outline it with the Raven. Now I don't know which one I'm going to do yet. Am I going to go ahead and use the number 1, or am I going to go ahead and, I don't know, use the number 3? Well, let's see which one is going to go into my hand first, and then we'll just try it out. So did you catch it, which one I went with? Well, if you said number 3, then you are exactly right. It just seems to be my go-to for most of my line work. For all the small little tiny details, I tend to go with the number 1. But don't you love those teeth, by the way? Aren't they just brilliant? I mean, they're so big and looks like that shark is just smiling at you. But going back to the number 3, the number 3 works really well. And it's, again, my go-to. I usually use that one for all of my line work. And then I'm popping over here with the number 1 for the small detail works. Again, switching between the Raven to the Panda. And I want you to look at this really quick. See, with the number 1, you can get those really fine lines in there. But even if I wanted to brighten up the teeth, I could actually take and just do that with this number 1 and get those teeth even brighter if I wanted to. But I think for right now, I'm going to work on some bubbles and some circles and to show you the precisions of how you can make those. See? Just so easy. I mean, this works super well, but again, you know, there is a little bit of difference in my opinion between the Raven and also to the Pandas. For some reason, and I'll just have to check with Anna and Santi to find out, it almost feels like the bristles on the Pandas, which is the ones with the white bristles, are a little bit softer than the ones that are just the black bristles, and that would be the Raven. So I feel a little bit of spring difference between the two, but again, not having any issues with it whatsoever. It's working really well. And again, I didn't expect anything less. And see, I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to just whiten up those teeth. I don't know, I think this works really well for precision. That's a number 1 right here. Nope, I still got the number 3. I'm just loving the number 3. I'm sorry. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at these brushes a little bit up close and personal. So I have the number 3. I am actually doing teardrops on my hand. This is the number 1. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to draw some additional teardrops. Even with the number 1, you can actually get some very thick lines just depending on the pressures. And when I'm working here with the Panda, it doesn't matter if you have a number 1 or number 3. Of course, I have the number 3 in my hand right now. You can tell by the length of the bristles because on the number 1, it is a lot shorter. I think for those of you who are used to working with a longer bristle, you may not even need to have the number 1, but if you're doing really fine detail work, I think the number 1 is actually great to have. You can see right here I'm getting very, very small teardrops. I can get some very thin lines. Sorry, going out of frame here again. And it's just working really well. You can just keep pulling it. And I don't know why my camera keeps going out of frame. I am so sorry. One day I'm going to perfect my skills of doing these videos. I just don't know that it will be today. And so the dragon drops right here as far as the number 1. Aren't they cute? Look like little mini white tadpoles. I'm going to make the same tadpoles, by the way, with the black. So here we go again. Number 1, you're seeing the same effect. Precision, you have a lot of it. These brushes are firm and the spring back is solid. So if you like a brush that has control, firm, then you're going to really enjoy these Raven and these Panda brushes. So just to give you a little bit more information on the brushes, they do have wooden handles. They are synthetic. They are synthetic sable bristles. I know that Anna and Santi go through a lot of testing with all of their brushes. These brushes are made in China, but they do a lot of testing to make sure that they're getting the quality brush that they're looking for. So again, with these brushes, I don't think that you're not going to get anything but what you expect out of a bolt brush, and that it works very, very well. Listening to the face painters around the world, we've all talked about how we love the white bristle brushes, but they tend to get very dirty. They stain. Then people think they're dirty because they're stained. And when you're using white, sometimes you're using it in muddy water, and then that affects your white paint. So simply keeping the Panda, which is white bristles, to your white paint, and having it in your kit so that you're only using that particular brush with your white paint keeps it fairly simple. This one right here with the Raven, you can see I'm getting some real precision lines. It is firm. Again, it is firm but with bend. Just remember that, firm but with bend. And if you like a firm brush, then I think that you're going to enjoy the Raven and the Panda both. So wrapping up this video, I'm just going to show you again the Panda. You can see the difference in the length, the bristles. Again, firm, but it has bend. I do think the white, though, has a little bit more bend than the Ravens, and that would be your black. I do think it has a little bit more of a bend. Both of them are firm, though. And then at the end of this video, I'm just going to do another outlining project. I'll put some music in there for you. If you want to see how it works, then stay tuned for the end of the video. But as always, guys, thanks for watching.